Is it good to use maple syrup? And if it is, what grade? No, maple syrup is sugar and it will acidify your system. Okay, I can't answer that one because you've mentioned cancer. So, repeat of the quick legal disclaimer thing for those people that came on a little bit late. I can't answer any question if you mention any medically diagnosed condition. Nobody in the online world can. Nobody can at all. Not just me. It's not just me being paranoid. If you mention a medically diagnosed condition, especially something you're currently being treated for, I literally just have to ignore your question. Apologies for that, but it is for the best, and I actually agree with that rule. I think it's for everybody's own good. So, on the next question, what is your favourite juicer? What do you think about the Fusion juicer? The Fusion juicer looks good. A lot of the juicers now are all following the same technology and mould as the Huron/Oscar. The Huron originally started with the KT100. That's what I'm still using in my kitchen now. I've had it for probably nearly 5 years and it's still churning away. But I am going to get the new stainless steel one for my next load of videos in the next couple of days, which I'm quite excited about. So I love the Huron, the Oscar, and all of those types of things because they basically are quick and easy to clean. How important is that when you're making a juice? They're quick and easy to clean. It takes like 2 minutes to clean it. You just wash it under the tap and it's done. There's no like scrubbing. You know when you've got those the juices are and you get that at the end of it, you've got like a miniature cheese grater that you've then got to scrub and get all the bits out. There's none of that. You just wash it under the sink and it's done. They're quiet, which is also really good for me because I'm often juicing really early in the morning when everyone else is still asleep. And they extract the maximum amount of nutrients from the juice. Like, the way you can tell this is when you've used one of those juicers and you look in your pulp bowl at the end, it's wet. That's all the loads of juice still in there. With the Huron, you pull out the pulp at the end and it's literally bone dry. You could weave with this stuff. It's like, oh my god. I make almond milk with it, which is just delicious, and it's as easy as just soaking some almonds overnight and then in the morning draining them, washing them, pouring them in the top of the Huron with as much water as you want for the consistency you want, and out one end comes delicious almond milk. Out the other end comes the most bone dry almond meal you could ever imagine. And it sort of defies logic because you're pouring water into this thing and then out the other end there's this bone dry stuff and this milk, which is just unbelievably delicious. So I love the Huron. They are a little bit more expensive than your Breville type ones that have got that big chute at the top that I know so many people have got. That used to be endorsed by Anthony Worrell Thompson, I think, back in the day of what was that show? God, I can't remember now. Food and something. I'm going back too far. But that's the juicer that I recommend. That's my favourite juicer, the Huron. So, sorry, I'm just looking through a few other questions here. Let's have a little look-see. Okay, it looks like the questions of slow down. I feel like I've now got the actual total sum of questions. So I'm just going to flick through here a little bit. That's another one about pH testing. Okay, so here's two here, one from Tammy and one from Valerie that both ask a very similar question, which is, Valerie's is, why does the medical community deny that eating alkaline has any benefits? And Tammy's is, have there been any studies on the long-term effects of this type of eating? If so, what are the results? Okay, so it's kind of similar, related questions. So I'm going to start with Valerie's first. Why does the medical community deny that eating alkaline has any benefits? Interesting one. And I'm going to try and be concise because this question could go on forever if I'm not careful. Firstly, a lot of people in the medical community and in the mainstream media misunderstand what the alkaline diet is. Okay, they think it's like a fad diet to lose weight first and foremost, and you know, I can't really blame them because, you know, you've got old Victoria Beckham out there banging on about it, and Mel C now banging on about it, and it's recently it's sort of blown up a little bit. but they think it's like a fad diet, like the South Beach diet, or you know, the whatever, all the other ones, Atkins and all that sort of stuff. And it's not a diet. They also believe that the philosophy of people like me that are teaching this stuff, our philosophy is to try and make your body more alkaline. And again, I can understand that misunderstanding, because there's just a slight distinction that's very important. The purpose of the alkaline diet is not to make the body more alkaline. It's to help the body preserve its natural pH, which is 7.365 of the blood, and mostly the blood, and a lot of our cellular fluids, and a lot of our tissues, and a lot of our organs. That's the aim, is to help the body maintain that pH. The body is constantly under attack, acid attack. Makes it sound quite terrible. The body is constantly being challenged to maintain that. It's the same in the same way, you know how the body has to regulate your temperature in a very, very tight range, otherwise there's just ridiculous consequences. It's the same for the pH. And the negative consequences of an acidic diet are forcing the body to constantly do work to maintain that 7.365. So a lot of the medical community denies that eating alkaline has any benefits, because their answer is the body will maintain that 7.365 no matter what you do. So what's the point of eating alkaline? You can't alkalize your body because the body will maintain it. That's exactly the point. That's the whole point we're going on about here. But what we're trying to do is give the body the tools it needs to maintain that 7.365 as easily as possible. I mean, what's best? The body has to have 7.365, so let's just have fizzy drinks and sugar and pizza all the time that's like pH 3 and constantly force the body to do all this hard work. It's the doing of the hard work, it's the stress of that that causes the issues. Okay? So while consuming that food has issues in its own right, the biggest concern is the stress it causes the body to have to neutralize that acidity constantly. Okay? When you're constantly doing that, here's just a couple of examples. When you consume that level of acidic food into your body has to produce so much hydrochloric acid in the digestive system to neutralize that it literally can't get rid of it all. Comes back up the esophagus, you get heartburn, you get reflux, you get GERD, all those types of things. Another example, do you wonder why there's so many studies out there that link drinking fizzy drinks with osteoporosis? It's no surprise. When you're overly acidic, the body has to pull alkalinity from wherever it can in your body, often from the bones, the calcium. It pulls alkalinity from your organs. It pulls alkalinity from wherever it can to neutralize this acidity. The bones are one of the most frequently raided for the calcium, which leaves you with osteoporosis and weak bones. The body's got its own inbuilt acid buffering system, which we evolved with, but because we evolved with such an alkaline diet in the past, that buffering system is very, very small. So that buffering system is basically taken up with the acidity that's just produced by your daily processes, your metabolism, sweating, breathing, all those types of things produce acidity by nature, and we've got this buffering system to deal with that. But then when we start putting acidic foods in our mouth and all sorts of other bits and pieces, that's when we start getting into trouble. So that's why the medical community doesn't think eating alkaline has any benefits, because it doesn't believe there's a benefit to be had, because it misunderstands the benefit we're trying to get. Okay. To bridge to Tammy's question, the thing that I would pose to anyone who doesn't isn't a big fan of the alkaline diet, and there's a lot of people that have said, can you give me a 30-second reason why the alkaline diet is good, because I keep getting loads of crap off people, all my friends that are saying I just looked over. We cannot understand Ross. Is there a way to have him speak more slowly? Sort of, but if I speak more slowly, we're going to be here for a very long time. So I'm going quite quickly. When you get the replay, you'll be able to slow down the video. Where was I? So the 30-second thing, right? Basically, look at the list of alkaline foods. If you haven't got the list of alkaline foods, which I'll email to you, look through it once you've had it emailed to you. Okay, every single food on that list of alkaline foods you know is good for you. There's no food out there that's good for you that isn't alkaline. Like, spinach isn't acidic, broccoli isn't acidic, salads and fresh vegetables aren't acidic. They're all alkaline. There is no unhealthy food that is alkaline. Cola isn't alkaline, chips aren't alkaline, sugar and chocolate, they're all acidic. If I gave every single 497 of you a list of alkaline food, just a list of random foods, I bet most of you would get at least 95% of them right if you had to put them in one box or the other, alkaline or acid. It just makes sense. So ask your friend or your doctor or anyone if they think that a diet that is rich in fresh vegetables, rich in salads, rich in low sugar fruits, in nuts and seeds and healthy oils, that has got a good variety of moderate intensity and good intensity exercise in it, a diet where you're hydrated every day, and a diet that's free from stress and anxiety, and a lifestyle that's relaxing and positive. Ask them if that sounds healthy or unhealthy. If they say it sounds healthy, then they're agreeing that an alkaline diet's good. Okay? And add to that a diet that's obviously doesn't include heaps of sugar, heaps of pizza, heaps of chocolates and cigarettes and alcohol and all that stuff. Just as an aside, you can have most of those things in moderation still. So even say that to them, it's moderation as well. And they'll all say that it's good. All of them will say that it's good, yet what you've just described to them is an alkaline diet. Okay? So, and that's something I was talking with my friends at a barbecue at the weekend about it, and they were saying, oh, what is it? And, when I said to them, it's not that complicated, it's not like you have to really watch out which foods you're eating because you might eat cucumber and that's accidentally acidic. It's not like that. All the healthy foods are are alkaline. All the unhealthy foods are acidic. Simple. Most people can have the comprehension of it. And that's why I don't really teach so much depth as to the what it is. I teach you, my focus is on teaching you the how to do it, how to make it real in your life, because I think that's what you're going to get heaps more value out of. So the studies, yes, there are loads of studies. Is there a study, a longitudinal study that has been double-blind, placebo, cross-reference tested over 50 years to say this is an alkaline diet and this is what it did? Has that been done? No. Will that ever be done? No. Has that been done on any particular eating way of eating ever? No. It's just not going to be done. It would cost millions and millions of dollars. No one's going to fund it because you can't make a drug out of it at the end. There have been big studies, the China study and stuff like that. They weren't done to test a particular thing. They were done to see, here's a massive study of lots of people doing lots of different things. What happens to the different groups of people? What comes out of this? There's so much research out there, of course, that a diet rich in vegetables is better for you than a diet not rich in vegetables. But there are starting to be lots of research papers published in really good journals: American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, the British Journal of Nutrition, the Nutrition Journal, the Journal for Public Health and Wellness. All these types of journals are starting to find links between alkalinity and certain benefits. So there's heaps that are proving that drinking alkaline water is great for reflux, that the alkaline diet is great for gout and hyperuricemia, that alkalizing is great for bone strength. All these types of things that are now coming out. So there's no one paper that says the alkaline diet is good, but there's loads of papers that are testing alkalinity with specific conditions. Literally thousands of papers on kidney problems, kidney disease and alkalinity. So I'll send you a link to a recent guide I did. A lot of you will have already seen it. Just on some recent papers that I've found about the alkaline diet and certain things, because it really is, for me, I've obviously seen the results in the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that I've helped and coached and taught and worked with over the last 9.5 years. I've seen the benefits in my own life, my family, but it's great also to see the medical community releasing this research in highly ranked, really well respected journals. This isn't the Natural Health Journal of Northampton that have done their own mini little test that no one's ever really going to see or try and contest or prove otherwise. This is like the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. That's probably one of the biggest health journals in the world. You cannot just publish in that. You have to be like a very well respected publisher, and your research has to be accepted into that journal, like validated and accepted into that journal. So there's an awesome researcher out there who I really must try and extend my network out to, called Dr. Linda Frassetto, who's doing heaps of work in the alkaline world at the moment for all manner of different stuff. So that's kind of answer that question. Valerie's got a few other questions coming through, which I'm going to just go through very quickly. So for a lot of you guys that have asked me several questions in one, I may only get to one of your questions, just in fairness to everyone else, and then I'll come back at the end if we're still rocking and rolling at the end, and get through to all the other ones. So Valerie's second question is, why is there so much discrepancy in the food charts? Some say certain foods are alkaline while others say they're acid. I've got a detailed answer on that I'll send you. Basically, a lot of the food charts out there go off a index called the Potential Renal Acid Load Index, the PROW index, which is used in the medical community. It's not necessarily relevant, 100% relevant to the nutrition community. But I can see why they've used it, because it's there and it's easy to use. What that does is basically the food or the substance is taken, it's burnt at a really high heat, and then the pH of what's left behind is measured. So that it's great for things like vegetables and a lot of foods, probably like 60% of foods it's great for. Where the biggest discrepancies come in is with fruit. And the reason why these charts show fruit as alkaline is because once you've burnt the fruit at a high temperature, it's burnt away all the sugar. If fruit didn't contain sugar, it would be highly alkaline because it contains alkaline minerals, nutrients, antioxidants, all this great stuff. It's the fructose in the sugar that makes it acid forming, and that's unfortunate. Now, I'm going to touch quickly on fruit now because there are questions in here about it. Give you my opinion. Fruit is acid forming by and large, except for avocados, lemons, limes, tomatoes, grapefruit to a degree. It's the sugar that's the problem. So try to stay away from super high sugar fruits, so pineapple, bananas, oranges. The sweeter the fruit, the more ripe it is, the more acid forming it will be, and the sugars are even starting to ferment at that stage. The way I look at it is I potentially up to one piece of in-season fruit per day, in season being the key word. And that's what I find is good, because, you know, I feel that it's given me the amazing benefits that's in the fruit. Like, I'm not like fruit's bad for you by any stretch of the imagination in terms of what's in it. That would be counterintuitive, but it's the sugar that we're trying to keep down. So definitely don't have fruit juices. Definitely don't juice fruit. I don't want to get too technical here, but fructose, pure fructose, is probably one of the worst sugars because, again, I'm not going to get too much into the chemical stuff of it, but basically what fructose the chemical nature of fructose basically gives you all of the sugar and all of the calories, but it doesn't set off the receptors in your brain to let you know you've eaten something. So your brain doesn't know that you're full, and it also doesn't know how to digest that sugar. So it just basically gets stored and not processed properly. Fruit is fine because when you're consuming fruit, you're consuming the fruit with fiber, and the fiber does set off those receptors, which then tells your body to digest the calories and the sugar and everything else that's in the fruit. So that's why I say don't juice fruits and don't have fruit juices. Not only is, like, you know, could you imagine a glass this big? Like, I've seen a lot of green smoothies on the internet that are like, yeah, half a pineapple, 2 bananas, 3 apples and an orange, and then some, yeah, we better make it green, so let's throw some spinach in there. That would be like 8 serves of sugar, none of the nutrients of the greens that are in here. So it's like, even worse when you juice. Smoothies are bad, but at least they've got the fiber in there. Even worse when you juice. It's the same for the juices. With the juices, you wouldn't even be getting the fiber, so you'd just be getting a massive sugar hit. And people go, wow, I've had this green juice with pineapple and oranges and apple and some spinach, and I feel amazing. What energy I've got is because you've just consumed like 30 grams of sugar with no fiber, but that energy will be gone in an instant. So that's kind of the fruit thing, and the discrepancy in food charts thing. So would you like my juicer pulp muffin recipe? It's alkaline. Any other recipes from your readers? Yes. There you go. Here's a call to action. Send me your recipes and I'll turn them into a reader's recipe book and let you all know about it. That sounds great. But definitely, Valerie, send me your juicer pulp muffin recipe. That sounds very interesting. Okay, next question from Melissa. Are canned foods such as lentils, kidney beans, etc. alkaline, or should the can be BPA free? This is one of those 80-20 things. If you haven't got the time or the ingredients to make up the pulses, the beans, the lentils, the split peas, whatever, from dried, use a can. Don't go without. That's the thing. It's like, you know, is it better to have the canned lentils than no lentils at all? Yes. So that's the simple answer for that one. Lance, that's a really long, complicated question. I will get to it, I promise you. But I just want to whip through a couple of quick ones now. So Christine, hello Christine. Christine was on my weight loss course, and I know Vicky's on the call as well, and I'm sure there's probably a few of you others as well. You've sent me in 11 questions, Christine. So I'm going to answer a couple of them quickly now, and then again I'll come back at the end to hopefully answer the rest. Okay, this is a good one. What did your whole day of food consist of yesterday, or what is a typical Ross day of eating, drinking? Yesterday, God. Well, okay, yesterday. What did I do yesterday? Where was I yesterday? I was in my office yesterday in the city. So what did I have yesterday? I started with one of these in the morning because with the Vitamix, it's so easy because you don't really even barely have to chop anything up. So that would have been similar to the one today. Just loads of greens in there and some lemon squeezed in at the end. I also did have some alkaline oats yesterday for breakfast. I call them my alkaline oats, which would have been probably 50% organic oats, 50% organic quinoa, cooked in water, topped with coconut cream at the end. It had some chia in there and it had some sesame seeds in there, and I just roughly chopped up some almonds as well and chucked that on top. So that was kind of breakfast and a kind of post-breakfast snack for before I went into the office to keep me going. In the office, that did keep me going till lunch. At lunchtime, there's an awesome place just over the road from me that does, like, you get 3 different types of salad in this bowl that's literally like this big for like $10 or something. So yesterday I had like a red cabbage kind of Asian-y type salad. There was a sweet potato and tofu with spinachy type salad, and the other one was like a tabbouleh type salad, which is like loads of parsley with cracked wheat, like couscousy type stuff in it, and red onion and tomato and all that sort of stuff. Had that for lunch. In the afternoon, did I have a snack in the afternoon? No, I came home from work early, and then when I got home, we just had some sprouted bread, which we get from our Bruce down the road, with avocado and tomato on it as a snack. For dinner, what did I have for dinner last night? Oh, I made a big soup with my Vitamix again, which is really delicious. But that was just like a massive cavalcade of vegetables in there. So I started by just very lightly sauteing some red onion and garlic in coconut oil, and then I threw in some sweet potato, some purple carrot. This is just all the stuff I had from the organic shop, because he just has whatever's in, and you get whatever's in and you throw it in. Some cauliflower, a whole load of massive amount of spinach, but I didn't put that until the end, so that was raw. Some tomatoes, and just a whole bunch of other different veggies. Very, very, very lightly sort of fried, sauteed that in coconut oil and some water, so I sort of steam cooked it for a bit. Then I just added some vegetable stock, which I use the Marigold brand, which isn't perfect, but it's the best I've found that's easy to get around here with stock. Just check that it hasn't got MSG in it. I just cannot believe they're still allowed to put that in the stock. So just check that. And then just sort of threw like a litre and a half of stock in there, let it just simmer real gently for about 8 to 10 minutes, threw it all in the Vitamix, blended it up, and then at the end I put in my lentils just to warm through, and just loads of spinach, just piled spinach in there. And that's what I had for dinner. I had a whole lot of that, and that was really filling, and it was delicious. Beverage wise, I mean, I must get through probably 8 herbal teas a day. I drink one of these every morning, just a lemon water. It's pH 9.5 water out of my Chunson ionizer with a bit of lemon squeezed in the top, topped up with warm, just to make it warm. This is now room temperature, which is fine. I have one of those every morning, so that's probably 600 mils, 600 mils. Like I said, a few of these a day. This is a little bit of a smaller bottle than I used to have. I used to carry a big litre bottle, but I really like the lid on this. You just twist it and then you can drink it, and it's really convenient. So I'll probably have 3 or 4 of those. They're 500 or 600 mils, I think. And then all the teas, and then whatever else comes on top of that. But that would be my default. I'll often, usually, if I haven't had one of these in the morning, it will be a green vegetable juice. Just celery, cucumber, spinach, lettuce, watercress, basil, whatever herbs I've got. Some kale if I've got it. Some ginger, bit of lemon, all that sort of stuff. That's typical. That's a typical day. That's a pretty alkaline day. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, a dinner at times could be like just some wholemeal pasta with like some blended up tomato and onions and garlic and stuff to make a sauce with some veggies in it, or with some or have like a sort of quick stir fry with veggies and tofu and some buckwheat noodles or something like that. You know. If I go out to dinner, I tend to just be pretty relaxed, if I'm being honest. And I will have a glass of wine, and I'll enjoy myself. So don't be going, oh my God, look at what Ross has, that's ridiculous. That's just because I'm in the flow of it, man. I've been doing it for a long time. If I have to have a sandwich or a wrap when I'm at work, I'm not going to worry about it too much. As long as I'm getting one of these in a day, you know, that's what you've got to think. If you're getting one of these in a day, everything else is a bonus. As long as you're not then going and just having Mars bars and pizzas all day. That contains more vegetables in it than most people have in a week. So just be getting one of those in. My goal is to eat or drink your 9 most alkaline foods every day, and to eat them raw for the most part. Even with this, for some reason, I can't lose weight. My friends say that I don't eat enough protein, and that's why I don't lose weight. How much protein should I be getting? My sources have been greens, nuts, quinoa. This is a really difficult one to answer. Just get the question, give the answer. Why is someone specifically not losing weight? Could be a million things. Could be a million things. The protein thing, your sources there are really good. Quinoa obviously is great. Greens, nuts and seeds, fantastic obviously. You know, you could try adding in the oats and that for breakfast, like I said, because that would be like a good 10-20 grams of protein at the start of the day. Tim Ferriss, who I'm a big fan of, says that getting 10 grams of protein within half an hour of waking up, he has found makes a lot of people lose weight. Just throwing that out there. But Christine, maybe email me. You know my email address. And we can work through that together. Are peanuts bad for us? If so, why? It's because peanuts are really attract toxins and fungus and molds and stuff. So they can really get acidic very quickly. That's basically it. If you are eating a peanut fresh in nature, literally fresh from nature, it isn't acidic. But the process of getting it to a shop, even to like a health food shop, they become really acidic. So try and stay away from peanuts. And I've answered the last one already, which is why, in a nutshell, is the alkaline diet good for us? I want a good answer, my friends. Okay. Why are mushrooms bad for us? Because they're a fungi, and all fungi is acid forming. Let's go back to the on the day questions. Okay, let's have a look. I hear that some oils are alkaline and some are acid. What's the best oils to use? Can you explain how that works? I could. I actually think I'm one of very few people that have read Udo Erasmus's Fats That Heal, Fats That Kill from start to finish a couple of times to fully understand that. It's all to do with the length of the chain, how the molecules bond together. It's not worth me explaining. You just need to know that some are good and some aren't. So basically the ones you want to be sticking to the omegas. So omega-3, 6 and 9, any oils that are rich in those, you want to be sticking with. The thing that makes a lot of oils bad is actually exposure to light, heat and air. So if you cook with them, if they're in a plastic see-through bottle, if they're exposed to heat, all those types of things will make oils go bad. The best oil to cook with is coconut oil. Yes, it's a saturated fat, but it's been proven that it's a good saturated fat. Flax, hemp and linseed, olive oil, avocado oil, sesame oil. These oils are all great. I would stay away from things like canola, sunflower, safflower, anything, any trans fats, any partially hydrogenated oils. Butter and margarine I'd stay away from as well. So in a nutshell, that's what that's all about. Okay, Vicky, my superstar Vicky, I've got an early start tomorrow, but wanted to let everybody know who's new to alkalizing know that I've lost 21 pounds, 10 kilos. Double thumbs up. And actually, that's going to take me to a question I did see pop up earlier. Where did I see it? Can you really lose 30 pounds in 30 days and how? Well, Corinda on my weight loss course lost 24 pounds in 25 days. She emailed me on day 25. She may have gone on to lose 29 in 30 or even 30 in 30 or who knows, 31 in 30. How? Get alkaline. Just listen to what I'm saying today. Get onto my website. If you go to my website, if you opt in with your email address on any page on my website, you'll get sent my beginners kind of starter pack. I've actually got a beginners course that is unofficial at the moment. It's in beta. It's not necessarily officially out there, but if any of you are interested in my beginners course, email me. You know my email address, ross@energizeforlife.com. But just follow the stuff I'm saying. Get onto my newsletter list. I'll be emailing you every week. All the basics are there. Everything you need to get alkaline. If I answered that question, how do I get alkaline? This whole webinar would be that question. And this is about Q&A, man. Get through those questions. So, raw cow's milk, is that okay? It's better than, pasteurised, homogenised cow's milk that's commercially available in the shops. Legally, you're not allowed to drink raw cow's milk. You're allowed to put it on your skin because it hasn't been pasteurised, so it might be bad for you. But I'd say just go with almond milk. Get yourself a Huron and make your own almond milk, or just buy almond milk in the shops because it's so delicious. And if you're using your milk in tea and coffee, just go. Sorry, I'm looking at my screen a lot. I should be looking right there. If you're using almond milk, milk in things like tea, then stop drinking black tea with milk and switch to herbal tea. In coffee, stop drinking coffee. But if you're going to drink coffee every now and again, and there's nothing wrong with coffee in moderation, then stop having big lattes with loads of milk in it, or switch to a different type of milk, a soy milk or something, or switch to a piccolo, which is just a little coffee, or switch to just an espresso or a macchiato or something like that. So that means the only other milk use left is on cereal, and if you switch to almond milk on cereal, you can thank me later because it's blooming delicious. How to get alkaline water. How important is alkaline water? Alkaline water is really important, primarily because tap water and bottled water is acidic. I'll send you that alkaline water guide so that you can get that. Again, my favourite way is with the Chanson. In fact, I'm going to send you guys, because you guys are like the pace setters. You guys are like the people that are making the most, taking the most action. I'm going to send you guys a little discount voucher for the Chanson, which I've written in capitals and put 2 stars next to. So I won't forget to do that. But alkaline water is really important. Hydration is most important. So if you haven't got any means for making alkaline water yet, just getting and staying hydrated, even if it's with tap water or bottled water, is better than being thirsty or dehydrated. So many of us are dehydrated. Like, the thing with dehydration, when people first say to me, like, for instance, that question I got earlier of why can't I get the results I want with alkalizing, or I want to get this result, and I say to people, how much water are you drinking? If they say, oh, not that much, just a couple of cups a day, it's like, woohoo, you are about to get results fast. and really easily, like today and with no effort, because just getting hydrated makes such a huge difference to people. I mean, here's a test. Don't drink any water today and see how you feel. Tomorrow, drink 3 litres of water and see how you feel. Tell me if that makes a massive difference to you, because I know that it will. I'm going to get through a few more of these. How can eggs be bad for you? Because they're full of acidic toxins and they're acid forming. But again, in moderation. I understand that's a breakfast thing. I understand culturally, like in the Western world, eggs play a big part of breakfast. I'll have the odd egg when I'm out at breakfast. In Melbourne, in Australia in general, in Melbourne especially, breakfast is like the most important social meal of the day. Like at the weekend, going out to meet your friends for breakfast is like the time to go out for dinner. And it's like going out for dinner. It costs about the same as going out for dinner. Like in the UK and in America, I just cannot imagine people spending like £15 on a breakfast, £20, or like, you know, $20-30 going out for breakfast. But that's what we do in Australia all the time. So I will have the odd blowout brekkie. But eggs every day, definitely not. Definitely not. Is the taste in our mouths when we wake up in the morning naturally acidic? Would it be a good habit to gargle out that morning taste with pH water? The best thing you can do is just get up and get some alkaline water. The taste, it's not necessarily acidic. It's down to what's going on in your body. But the best thing you can do first thing in the morning, if you're not pH testing, if you're pH testing, the best thing you do is test your pH and then move on. But the best thing you can do first thing in the morning, get into this habit, get out of bed, go and get a big glass of alkaline water and drink it without leaving the tap. Just drink it. Then get on with your day. This is an interesting one, Giovanni, and that last one was from Giovanni as well. How much of an impact does life's daily stress or certain emotional events have on alkalinity? Brilliant question. It has a massive impact. Dr. Young's actually seen in his blood work that negative emotions, especially things like stress and anxiety that can be so, so enclosing, have as much of or more of an impact on the pH of the blood as foods. So being stress-free, living a positive life free from things like jealousy and envy and all those types of negative emotions is really super important. Now, I posted a link on my Facebook page, the Energize for Life Facebook page, yesterday, I think, to my friend Ruth's series that she's doing at the moment on mindfulness. I really recommend checking that out. Go to my Facebook page. It's probably the second post that's up there. And you can just go and sign up on Ruth's website. Ruth is someone who I meet with, who I will be seeing in America in a couple of weeks. So I love her dearly. And I meet up with her as part of just a mastermind group that I'm in. Another thing that I recommend hugely, very powerful. She runs the National Institute for Clinical Behavioural Medicine. So treating things like stress and trauma with behavioural counselling and techniques and psychological kind of stuff. And mindfulness is a huge part. You know, they study a lot on how the brain works and all these types of things to help practitioners to treat their patients with things like stress and trauma and all that sort of stuff. So really, in a nutshell, I read that somewhere earlier and I keep saying it now. In a nutshell, Giovanni, it really does have a big impact, and I really recommend things like exercise, yoga, meditation, particularly mindfulness, I think is very powerful. What is a good healthy breakfast? We've sort of covered that. I'll send you my breakfast guide. Simon, if you're still on, I should have got you to be writing these down for me. But you shouldn't be on too much because you've got stuff to do. So what is a good healthy breakfast? We have been through that. The oats thing that I said earlier, things like the smoothie. I love having like sprouted breads with avocado, tomato and spinach with some oil on top, and you know, the warmth from sort of, if you toast the sprouted bread, the warmth from that with the creaminess of the avocado, with the coolness of the tomato, the saltiness from some Himalayan salt, and the smoothness from the avocado or olive oil or whatever you put on top. Yum! I just love that. So things like that. You can make healthy mueslis. You know, definitely don't have dairy in there. There's all sorts of things. I'll send you my alkaline breakfast guide. That'll do for that one. I am drinking pH 8 water from a company in South Australia. Do you know of this product? What do you think of this? The problem with pH 8 water or any kind of alkaline bottled water, so there's two things here. There's like commercial bottled water brands, and then there's people selling alkaline bottled water. So the bottled water brands will often have on the side pH at source, or they'll just have pH, Like Fiji water, for instance, says I think like 8.2 or something, but that is literally at source. That's before it's been extracted from the source, processed, bottled, heat-filled, cap put on, stored in a plastic bottle on a shelf for 6 months before you actually drink it. I have tested probably 20 to 30 different brands of bottled water, including Fiji, and they're never alkaline. They're always acidic. They've always got a positive ORP, which means they're oxidizing to the body, which means it kills cells and ages you. We'll probably get more onto the ORP thing later, but that's just another benefit of the chance, and it gives you that negative ORP water, which means it's an antioxidant, which makes you thrive and makes you look and feel younger. So I don't know exactly from this water company. So this, I presume, is a company that sells the water as alkaline as a benefit. It could be the same, or they could be adding a whole load of minerals, concentrated minerals in there to boost the pH, which will help you marginally. But the difference between that and something like ionized water, or by using pH drops or one of the filter jugs, something like that, is going to be quite big. So yeah, and again, bottled, the plastic I'm not a big fan of. I would hope that if it's a bottled water thing, it's been filtered as well. But that must be expensive. To be honest, to be drinking 2 to 4 litres of that a day is probably costing you 3 to 4 times more than just getting a chance and on an instalment plan. And when it's on the instalment plan, it's obviously paid off in a year and it's then yours for life. Plus you get all the acid water benefits and all the other bits and pieces as well. So that's what my suggestion on that one would be. You mentioned a doctor who's doing a lot of work in the alkaline diet. That's probably Dr. Young I've talked about, who's kind of like the founding father of the alkaline diet movement. So check him out, definitely. I don't know if you answered this, but what about coconut water or coconut? Can you consume too much in a serving? I'll tell you what, I'm going to go for a bathroom break after this question. And to prove my answer to this question, I'm going to get myself a little glass of coconut water. Coconuts are incredible. I love them. Don't worry too much about the fat thing. The same as avocados, it's not going to make you fat. It's going to speed your metabolism and help you lose weight. I use coconut oil to cook with. I take coconut oil as a supplement. I cook with coconut cream. I put coconut cream on my breakfasts. I use coconut milk in my smoothies and in my juices. I drink coconut water, just the lot. Coconut's fantastic. Don't worry about those. They're brilliant. Let's see one last question before the bathroom break. How much alkaline water should one drink daily? There's a little equation in the alkaline water guide that you'll get, but basically if you're getting between 2.5 to 4 litres a day for most people, majority of people, that's going to be the rule of thumb. At least 2 litres every day, at least, please, 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 and up to 4. To begin with, you'll find yourself going to the bathroom a lot. That will change within a week or so. That will change. The analogy that I use here is like a sponge, right? So if you think of a really dried up sponge, when you first run that under a tap, the water will just run off it. But the more water that it's exposed to, the more it starts to expand and the more water it can hold before it needs to be squeezed. So think of your body internally as like that dried up sponge. So when you first start drinking water, it's just going to run through. But the more your cells get hydrated and penetrated by the water and absorbing that water, the more your body's going to be able to use that water in its processes and the more you'll hold before you need to go pee again. So what an excellent segue to go to a bathroom break. I've got through a lot of questions there, but there's still a lot to get through. We've been going an hour and a half so far. I am going to give you a nice little holding screen. Here we go. 3-minute water break. That's what it's going to be. I'll be back in 3 minutes.